All right, Nation. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. The areas of concern that I have to bring up will be the LVE. Believe it or not, I know that they are saying that they're going to bring him back. He's already practicing in pads and these sorts of things. And trust me, we love to see the Wolf howl again. But he's not the end all nor the be all to this particular team. We got a lot of issues up front. We do. We're not getting the penetration that we want. I know it's a two-gap system, so the responsibility is different. Nevertheless, I just don't see that we're getting the penetration that we need. Remember, the safest spot for any quarterback is inside the pocket. And when we play against seasoned veteran type of quarterbacks, they just slide right up inside that pocket. They have all of the time in the day and the earth to throw the ball. And then when you run in the rock, here's my reservations on this. LVE and Jalen Smith both on their scouting report had issues and trouble with disengaging. That's just the bottom line. So they have issues and troubles with disengaging. By us not having the front four that's dominant enough, it's always a cause to pause. So I know that they bring in LVE back. I would rather for them to just slow pace this thing and not bring him back too soon. Collarbone can shatter again. And we've seen that happen with this particular team. Now, will he be able to make a great impact as it relates to pass coverage? I love him in that aspect of it. LVE is dominant as it relates to pass coverage. If you think I'm lying, just look at some of the interceptions that he was able to get, when he was healthy LVE. He can cover those passing lanes. He just got that long length that we need out there on the field. Now, I do love Joe Thomas. I like what he brings, the level of tenacity that he brings to the table. And my biggest reservation is with Jalen Smith. We see him. I know he came out and said, hey, we all got to play better, including me. And we got to establish and find our identity. Well, at least he's admitting it, right? That he got some type of issues, and as well as with this team, they got some type of flaws that's going on, and we can see we're 1-3. We can flat out see it. We can. All right, so my other issue is this right here, my biggest reservation, just like before the season started. I said the offensive line for your mind is my reservation. Now, with Tyron Smith, I guess he's going to be out for the remainder of the season and these sorts of things. And he just tried to give it his all. He just wore out and broke down. I wouldn't mind if he just take off a whole year, right? And get right and do like the Gronkowski brother did. He took off for a couple of years or whatever. He came back and said, hey, I'm ready to play football now. He's still young. It's just that, man, this guy been having these issues with his arm 1 year, now his neck, his back. I mean, he's just getting long in the tooth as it relates to football years. He's still young as it relates to everyday common life people. We the common folks, right? I just want him to get right. I want him to get better in these sorts of things. But we have to look at it and say, hey, next year for the 2021 draft, maybe it could be tackle. It could be tackle. We can flat out be drafting a tackle. And I'm talking about left tackle. And newsflash, it could be a situation and a possibility that we may not ever see Lyle Collins back. Just like that, your fortune just gone. All what you build for, gone. Travis Frederick, remember, he retired this year. Gone, right? We didn't think that he would retire that quick. Travis Frederick is still young. Remember that, right? So just like that, the offensive line, gone, like Ripley's, believe it or not. Or David Blaine, some type of whoever do the Houdini tricks out there these days. Chris Angel, is he still alive? Maybe we need to bring him on his team because everybody's falling out, dropping out, and just injuries, man. Injuries. Injuries are always a fickle process as it relates to sports, and we would never know. We would flat out never know about this team and about how everything else is orchestrated. Now, from the, I guess, positive aspect of it, we're facing against a team that knows us, yes, Jason Garrett, but newsflash, we would know him too. So in the same breath, in the same token of time with our mind, we can just say this as well. The Dallas Cowboys should, and it's the operative word, should, figure out a way to have a better defense against this team. This can be the calling cry or the welcoming game to say, hey, although we got people down, although we got people out, we know what Jason Garrett like to run and operate. Yes, we can look at it and say to ourselves, yes, good old Jason Garrett knows us, but it's time out. We heard all of the news, heard all the echoes of effort and these sorts, and I know it got back to the players. We know those players' ears are to the ground. They are everywhere listening in to everything on 105.3 The Fan, on ESPN, on NFL Network. I know they listening. And if they're not listening, their relatives are. And their relatives are going to be like, hey, such and such said this about you. So we know they got the message. And that's why I love putting the pressure from a fan aspect of it. Some people love to say, hey, you're taking it too hard on them. No. Y'all saw the clips that I played of Jimmy Johnson. It was no love affair. Be hard on these players. He would even leave Troy Aikman if he was late, and Michael Irvin. But it's setting the tone. It's setting the mindset. You see, here's the thing, newsflash. Your mind controls everything. You take the mind, you won the body. You won the spirit if you take the mind. It's all about mental warfare. And yes, no Tyron Smith. LVE, he trying to creep back. We can talk about that. But it's all about mental mindset. This offensive line, we can say, yeah, we didn't give Dak Prescott the best deck of cards to play with, nor Ezekiel Elliott, who have yet to see 100 yards. And I believe my 3 keys to victory should still operate. I'm not going to say it right now, but you guys can figure it out. It's Ezekiel Elliott. He's the major key. I'm not going to say the other 2 keys, but he's the major key. Newsflash. If he can get to 100 yards, that means a lot. Why is that, Law? Time of possession. That's a major category. And when you really digest everything, Ezekiel Elliott can help out this defense more than the defensive players can. He can. But we got to have an offensive line that can just at least get in the way. We don't need Ezekiel Elliott emphasis and focusing on, hey, let me be the 6th offensive line. Because I look back at many of plays. Let's just look at my last video breakdown. If it wasn't for Ezekiel Elliott, we wouldn't have an extra touchdown on there. He putting his body on the line, blocking. That's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. We need to figure out how to become better, but it starts with mental first. When somebody say they fatigue, when somebody say they tired, when somebody say they're not going through and playing through the echoes of the whistle, you got nothing but space and opportunity. There's a track out there. We got one of the world's greatest workout facility. Run that track until you can't run no more. Run those bleachers wherever you can find them. Plyometrics, calisthenics, whatever it may be. Got to get in shape, especially if you are a defensive back. You want to run, you want to be able to get those legs up under you so that you know for sure that in the 3rd and the 4th quarter, when you hear that wide receiver on the top of his route going, now you know you got him. It's all about that mental warfare. When you go, you know that he got that, I want to get out of the game type of mentality. And that's when you get that interception. That's when you can jump that route. That's when you know that, hey, that fatigue that you hearing from him, that's when you know you can capitalize. It's all about the mental mind, Cowboy Nation. And speaking of that, don't forget to hit that like button, share this content, let that friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Let's go.